Kinds of definition. Before we go to the definition in the strict sense of the term, we just make a rough outline of the various kinds of definition. It is only for the sake of it is only for information. But actually, what is to be stored in mind, what has to touch each one is what you are coming later. What is the meaning of logical definition? Okay, now let me come to the first distinction that we can make regarding definition is definition can be divided into verbal or real, or we can give the another expression for that one, namely nominal and logical. This is nominal and this is logical. So definition, in reality, this is what we are concerned about. We are going to that one. But before going to real or logical definition, just to want to touch, people also call some other thing as definition. They are called verbal or nominal definition. I given an example here in the notes. Philosophy is love of wisdom. It is not a definition of philosophy, what philosophy is. That is the reality of philosophy. What philosophy is? Philosophy is the science of all things in their ultimate causes. One definition. That is the reality of of philosophy. The first one, it is only what the word means. There is a looking at the word philosophy, looking at the meaning of the word, the etymological meaning. The same example will come again when you find philosophy means love of wisdom. The two Greek terms with which the term philosophy is coined is philia and Sophia. So love of wisdom. But that is not the real definition. It is only a verbal definition. Verbal means defining the word. Nominal means defining it is only giving the meaning of the word. Both refer to the same. So this is the first division. But we will be going into the real or logical definition with which we are concerned. The other one we are not so concerned, but only by way of information I am giving you. Now this nominal or verbal definition can still be subdivided in the sense people use many other things also as definition, but then strictly they are not definition. One type of verbal definition is etymological definition, and etymology means the root meaning of the term, root meaning. Philosophy means Sophia and Philia. Both, this is the root with which the term philosophy is made or coined. The root meaning is, one means Philia means love, and Sophia means wisdom, so love of wisdom. So that is called, when you look at the etymology, the root meaning of the term. Sociology, logos of societas, that means the science of society. Or psychology, the science of soul, psyche or mind. So that they are all etymological definition. That is one type of verbal or nominal definition. Another one is synonymous definition. Synonymous. That means you give the synonym in the same language. Synonym in the same language. Synonymous. So grief means sorrow. You are giving another word in the same language. It is also a sort of a clarification because I do not know what is the meaning of grief. Therefore, I asked somebody and they told it means sorrow. Some sort of clarification, but that is also one kind of definition, but not the logical definition. The other one is, the third one is linguistic definition. Linguistic definition means giving the meaning of the term in another language. I did not know the meaning of sun. Therefore, I had to explain to somebody as in another language, as a Suryudu or whatever be the term. I am giving not in the same language, but in another language, I am giving the meaning of the term. That also is some sort of a definition. And just another type of verbal definition is ostensive definition. Ostensive. Ostensive, ostendere in Latin means to show. To show, ostendere. Okay, don't worry about the Latin now. There is enough of trouble with the logic now. Therefore, remaining the logic. So, ostensive means defining something by showing to somebody else. As an example, point you a familiar example. Now, one does not know what is the meaning of a rich man, but they know who Ambani is. Therefore, a rich man is someone like Mr. Ambani. And then they understood the meaning. Clarifying a term with the help of a familiar example. So that is another type of a definition or clarification. So, but we are not so much concerned, but they are only by way of information I am giving. But we are concerned about the real or logical definition, and to which we come now. Real or logical definition. Yeah. Before I could start with the various rules of logical definition. But instead of going to the rules, I will give the rules one after the other later. Before that one, we have to spend some time to clarify the first rule. But we will take it up later. But here we are saying, it is logical definition is expressed by means of the proximate genus and specific difference. So this is in fact the first rule we'll come to that one. This is the first rule in fact, but we'll take it up one after the other. But here we are clarifying these two expressions, proximate genus and specific difference. These two phrases are important in order to understand what a logical definition is, because that is the first and the most important rule which we will be taking up as a rule. Now we are only clarifying these two phrases, which will take some time. So we are able to give a logical or a real definition with the help of proximate genus and specific difference of the term to be defined. So they use the expression, instead of using several terms, we use the expression definiendum. Definiendum. It is a Latin term, but it is used now among the logicians, definiendum. What is definiyendum? Definiyendum means the term to be defined. For example, we say man is rational animal. What is the term that we are defining? We are defining the term man. So this is the definiyendum. Man we are defining, we are clarifying. And how do we clarify? By giving the definition. So this is the definiyendum, this is the definitions or definition. This is the definition. Rational animal is the definition and man is the definiyendum. The term, I am defining the term man, therefore that is the definiyendum, and I am defining it with the help of a definition, that is rational animal. So this one is definiyendum, the other one is a definition. So we have to give the proximate genus and the specific difference of the definiyendum of man. For instance, take the example of man. Now our struggle is to understand what is proximate genus and specific difference. And in order to understand these two phrases, we have to go little back to Aristotelian and Thomistic philosophy. And there they make the distinction between genus and species and difference. All these phrases will come in a five list term called predicables. I'll explain that one. So to understand genus and difference, what do they mean? We need to clarify the notion of predicables. And what is predicables? The different kinds of predicates in relation to their subject. We say man is, or this man is intelligent. This man is intelligent is a predicate. And thus we can use so many predicates. There are only 5 kinds of predicates. And those predicates are generally called as predicables. I am clear in my expression. The various kinds of predicates. What is the predicate? With regard to a subject, we say the table is made of wood. A predicate made of wood is a predicate. That is one type of predicate. Thus, there are 5 kinds of predicate. All the 5 kinds of predicates put together as the name predicables. Okay, now what are those predicables or the 5 kinds of predicates? The first one is called genus. Genus, species, difference, property, and finally accident. Genus, species, difference, property, and accident. We start with a basic clarification and then we go deeper. What is that one? Genus. Genus is a class. Class means, of course, a group containing within itself subclasses. So any class that contains subclasses, that is a genus. A class that contains subclasses. So these are all subclasses. A big class containing subclasses, that is called a genus. For example, animal. We are just giving the classical example. Animal. Animal is a big class which contains subclasses. And one of the subclasses is human being. Human being is one type of animal. Therefore, it's subclass. The what is it called? The fishes are another type of animal, or the birds are another type of animal. The bees are another type of animal. There are different kinds of animal. So that means animal is a big class that contains different subclasses. That big class is called a genus. A genus that contains subclasses. The second one is species. Species is a subclass with some essential characteristic. It's a subclass, of course, subclass in a big class. Otherwise, we don't call it subclass. Subclass is under a class. So that subclass will have a specific characteristic. Now, for instance, man or human being, that is a subclass. But then that subclass has got a specific characteristic that differentiates the subclass of being a fish. Fish is also subclass in the animal, but then there is a difference between the subclass fish and subclass human being, and that is called, so that kind of small class, a subclass is called species. And then difference, the essential characteristic that distinguishes one species from others in the genus. The essential characteristic. Now, for instance, I said genus is a big class containing subclasses. And why this is a subclass and how it is different from other classes. That differing element, what differentiates human being from the non-human or the other animals, that is called the difference. What differentiates a subclass from other classes, it is called the difference. For instance, the human being, what differentiates the human being from other subclasses? It is rationality. We presume that all have got rationality. If you do not have, we are not a human being. So human being is specified, differentiated from other subclasses in the big class by the characteristic of rationality, and that is called difference. So rationality becomes the difference that specifies or differentiates the species, one species from other species in the genus. Genus is a big class and species are the small classes, and each small class will be different from other small classes. And how are they different? And that specific characteristic, essential characteristic, that is called the difference, and with our example it is rationality. Fourth predicable is property, a non-essential characteristic which each individual of the class has. Non-essential. It doesn't constitute the part of constitute the being of that particular class. For instance, laughter. They say some try to give a definition for human being, the laughing animal, because they find only human beings can laugh. Therefore, the laughing animal. But Aristotle does not agree to that one. Laughing, of course, is present only in the humans, he agrees. But he doesn't agree, take it as the essential characteristic of a human being. A difference is specified only in the human beings, all the human beings, but it is part of the essence of human being, rationality. But ability to laugh, ability of speaking, they are present in all human beings. That doesn't mean it is an essential characteristic. It is not. It is not. So therefore, that kind of characteristics which are non-essential, although present in all, it is called property. And fifthly, accident. A non-essential quality which all in a class may have or may not have. All in a class may not have. For instance, so and so is a singer. It is a quality, but it is a non-essential. He happened to be a singer. This one happened to be a dancer. So they happen to be, accidentally happen to be. This table is brown or brown. Happen to be brown. It is not an essential characteristic. It is not a characteristic that is every table has got. No, it is only an accident. Therefore, a non-essential characteristic that all in a class may not have. So the capacity to sing or one's particular intellectual capacity. So all may not have the same capacity, different capacity, so many, everyone has got, everyone is gifted with so many accidents. Accidents means non-essential characteristics. They are all present in me, not necessarily in all. That is, they are called accident. So these are the 5 predicables, and I give a general picture of the 5 predicables. Now we have to see the relation between them, and then we'll understand what are the 2 phrases that we have to clarify: proximate genus and specific difference. It is for that, in view of that one, we have referred to the predicables, which are the various predicates, and 5 kinds of predicates are there. And what are they? Genus, species, difference, accident, the property and accident. Together they are called predicables. And with this, today we stop.